It's finally here after waiting for 9 years after it was announced originally by Steven Spielberg in 2013. We have our first trailer for the Halo TV series, which is set to come out in March. And let me tell you, this show looks like absolute crap. And we're going to go over why. We're going to go through this trailer, go through the things that I really disliked about it, and why I'm not looking forward to this show anymore, and why I think it honestly shouldn't have been made at this point. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to go through the trailer on positive sentiments. Here we go. Halo new series streaming March 24th. So here we got summer. Here we got summer that's clearly not Earth. That was not an Earth structure. This has to be some other planet. Okay, the year is presumably being 2552, and we have right here an insurrectionist using an AK-47. Yes, it makes a little bit of sense for the insurrectionists to be using poor guns. It makes a lot of sense for the insurrectionists to use poor weaponry, stuff that they've scavenged from like old UNSC stuff. But AK-47s, this is what, 600 years after the AK-47 was manufactured originally, and they're still using these in the future. Yes, the caliber size is very similar to that of the assault rifle that the UNSC uses, but still, they could have at least gotten some more futuristic weaponry stuff to get people more engaged with. This is something separate from the world and put us more into that Halo lore. Instead, they went the lazy route. They got some prop AK-47s or some real ones, no rounds in the chamber. And now we have this. We have AK-47s in Halo, which, I mean, isn't a horrible thing. I would love to have it in the games. It'd be kind of interesting to see that. Be a little lore breaking, but at this point, we have samurais running around from different universes in Halo Infinite, so might as well just throw in some more stuff.
You.
And this right here, this is going to be the main character of the show. I'm calling it right now. Master Chief is not going to be the main character of the Halo TV series. This show is going to go the route of the Witcher Netflix series, where Henry Cavill, being the Witcher, isn't even the main character of his own show. He's barely a character in his own show. The main character in that show, I'd say, is Yennefer and Ciri. Yes, Ciri was the main character in the books, to my knowledge, but a lot of the Netflix series is not really focused on even Ciri. It's more on telling Yennefer's story, and most of this show didn't derive from the books. It was just the showrunners using their creative powers to create what the stories that they wanted to tell, using The Witcher as the name, using Geralt, using Henry Cavill to draw people in, and then you watch the show and you're not getting what you want to see. This is going to be the same with the Halo show. I'm going to call it out right now. This isn't 100% certain. This is just my assumption. But we're going to get our glimpses of Master Chief here, and then we're not going to get them throughout the show. We're going to follow this little Asian girl around that Master Chief is going to be helping. It's going to be more her story.
Master Chief, huh?
The Master Chief was enhanced and trained for one purpose.
Oh, let's pause it right here. This Marine right here,
to win.
This Marine is gotta be the tallest Marine out of his squad, because Master Chief in lore is supposed to be 7'2". This Marine has got to be like 6'5", because he is not that much shorter than Master Chief. Okay, when you play the games and you're looking down at the Marines, they're little tiny people. Okay, they like come down to like here on Master Chief. So Master Chief is a lot smaller in this show. I get it. Pablo Schreiber isn't a giant like Master Chief. He's still a very tall guy. I do like the guy as an actor, but they could have possibly found someone better to be the body for Master Chief. I thought they did a good job with the Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn. Granted, I haven't watched that in a long time, but it did feel more of a genuine Master Chief than this right here. And you're going to hear Master Chief speaking a little bit. I don't necessarily like Pablo Schreiber as the voice for the Master Chief. It doesn't really have that iconic raspiness that Steve Downes gave us in the games. Even the Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn Master Chief, he resembled Steve Downes a lot better than Pablo Schreiber does.
To win this war, he and the other Spartans are our only effective weapons against the Covenant.
That we haven't read about before.
He is lethal, upgradable, and most importantly,
right here, we got to talk about this right here. The 2002 Chevy Tahoe has somehow made it to another planet in the year 2552. Okay, my Ford is definitely not going to last as long as this Chevy Tahoe right here. Okay, I don't know who is driving this, who decided to export this vehicle. Okay, you would think that the oldest car that they would have at this point in a future like this would be a Tesla, maybe even a Chevy Volt, who knows, but a 2002 Chevy Tahoe, holy cow, how many miles do we think this thing has? I'm going to guess it's got like 69,420, but who knows? That's amazing that a Chevy Tahoe can last 500 years, and it looks like it's probably still drivable.
Controllable.
And that was another thing. Let's go back a couple of seconds right here. Master Chief looks very
upgradable
small
and most
Healy. To my recollection, Master Chief and the elites in the games were roughly the same height. The brutes were a lot bigger. It'd make more sense for like if he was fighting brutes that they would be way overshadowing him.
Most importantly, controllable.
It takes
Covenant forces appear to be excavating some kind of object. When I touched the object, I felt something. I felt different.
What they did to us makes you numb.
And you just decided to help me. Why would a Spartan do that?
What does one do with a superhuman you're not sure you can trust?
That's another thing I'm a little worried about, is Master Chief has always been one to put the mission first, to make sure that whatever needs to get done gets done. He essentially is the perfect soldier from starting on in his early career at the UNSC. Everyone trusts him, knows that he's going to get the job done. So why in this show is he all of a sudden something that you can't trust? Unless they're talking about someone else right here. Presumably not, though. It seems like they're kind of going the route of Halo 5, maybe AWOL Chief, which takes place like 5 years after the events of the first Halo ring, from the first game, from the second game, and the third game. So that's just something we're gonna have to look forward to have our questions answered, because right now it seems, I have a feeling that this show might be jumping around with stealing stuff from the games, kind of like what we're going to be seeing with the Uncharted movie coming out this year, where they're pulling scenes from multiple games that were the most iconic scenes of the games, and they're throwing them in to the movie in a timeline that doesn't make any sense at all with the games. And it's just, they're just using that to get people who aren't familiar with the franchise into the theater seats, and then we're going to get a mediocre movie at the end. But I digress.
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
What is that? That is not Cortana, okay? I don't know what this Karen is right here, but that is not Cortana. If you want to see Cortana, this right here is Cortana, okay? Not this. This is not Cortana. I don't know what is going on, why they couldn't have done a better job with Cortana. Okay, that's another thing that the Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn did better, was their depiction of Cortana. She was a lot like the Halo 2 Anniversary or the Halo 4 Cortana. Not whatever this is. Okay, they could have gone full animated, full CG with Cortana, and people would have been fine with it because it would have made sense. But instead, they tried to give like a more live action-esque to it, give her more humanoid features, give her skin, like there's hints of like the hues of like orange brown in her skin right there. She's not fully blue like she is in the games.
Master Chief.
Another issue I have just with this trailer, this doesn't have anything to reflect on the show, but this is a thing that a lot of movie trailers do. They take covers of popular songs and they use it to kind of just give you a sense of nostalgia, or say make your brain familiarizes these songs because you like these songs, so they put it in the trailer to make you like this trailer. We see this in a lot of movies. I watched something recently where they talked about how even the Batman Begins trailers, the first one came out and it used a Nickelback song. Something totally unfitting, but they tried it to get people into the seats. Horrible decision on my part. Horrible decision in this trailer. Where's the Marty O'Donnell?
Recovered something.
Sacred ring. Halo.
I'm also not a big fan. I'm assuming in this, where we're at, seeing in the trailer, they haven't discovered the first Halo ring. That's what it seems like to me, is this is their first time discovering a Halo ring. And it's complete different story from the games. Okay, the story of Halo is the humans escaped Reach with the Covenant glassing the planet. Cortana jumped them to a location that she found in the Covenant computer before, and it led them to Halo, and they found out about Halo by essentially landing there, or just to slip spacing right outside of the Halo ring. They weren't discovering it through artifacts that Master Chief found when he touched underground in the mines. So another way we're diverting from the original Halo story. I'm not a fan of it at this point. This show is just Halo in name only. It's not the true story of Halo. And yes, I get it. It is its own separate timeline, but for the fans of the franchise that have been following this franchise for 20 years, that have read the novels, played the games, watched the shows that have come out, the cosplayers, everyone who's like dedicated their time to this franchise and to getting to know the lore is going to be severely disappointed. And I'm going to go more into it at the end of this trailer.
Humans surrender to the Covenant.
Cortana,
Bad guy.
I'm gonna need you now. Find the Halo. Win the war.
Right there on Paramount Plus. Let me tell you, I have Paramount Plus. It's a mediocre streaming platform. Like, there's some stuff that I remember from when I was in my younger days, and I was like, oh, I remember these being good. And then I went back and watched them on Paramount Plus just for the nostalgia factor. None of it's really that good. I do want to check out 1883, but even from what I've heard of that, it's okay. I'm going to keep Paramount Plus for a few more months. I'm going to check out maybe a couple episodes of this show. Who knows if I'm going to finish it. Maybe my mind will be changed. Maybe I'll like the show, but at this point, I'm not completely sold. Like I said, I do think that this show is getting the Witcher treatment. I think this show is going to be the next live-action Cowboy Bebop, where everyone went in super excited, all the fans of the anime, and then it came out, ended up getting canceled within a couple of weeks because no one liked the show. People stopped watching it. The actors didn't look like the characters that they were portraying. They changed everything about the original show, the tone. Nothing really fit. People were saying they've seen cosplayers that look better than the actors and the costumes that they got for the show. And that's kind of how I feel here. I've seen cosplayers look way better. I've seen people do the props for Halo way better than we're seeing in the show right now. Something about Master Chief's suit just doesn't fit right. I don't know what it is. Something about it. I don't know if it's his stature or what, but something doesn't look right. And also, it's just this timeline is all screwed up. Presumably, this is an origin story for the Master Chief, like the first Halo ring, how they first find it, because we do see Chief meeting Cortana in this trailer. Unless it's a flashback, because there is a young Master Chief in this show. And so maybe we're going to be seeing stages of Master Chief's life. Right here, like, Master Chief looks good, but he doesn't look great. I've seen, World's Tallest Spartan looks better than this Master Chief. Something just does seem off right here to me. I don't know what it is, but I don't get Spartan vibes from these characters. I get just cosplayers, honestly. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you, but I'm just not sold on anything really in this show right now. Yes, I've been waiting since like 2007 to see something live action in Halo. And maybe I can wait another 20 years because I'm just kind of burnt out on these real crappy adaptations, these like remakes, these expanding on characters, and just everything right now. Film and television's kind of going down the drain. I don't know if everyone's gotten lazy. Everything's like agenda fueled. I don't even want to get into any agendas with this show. But I mean, like look at Book of Boba Fett. Okay, like we have an iconic character that fans have loved since the 80s, since the 70s actually, with the holiday special. And we finally get his own show, and he's barely a character in it. He's absolute garbage. From what I've seen of the show, I stopped watching the show halfway through the first episode because it was that bad. And then I came back just to watch the latest episode with The Mandalorian. And even still, it was a mediocre episode. But everyone talking about the show said it's the best episode of Boba Fett so far, Book of Boba Fett. And Boba Fett's not even in it. And that's what I feel like is going to be with this show. It's not going to be Master Chief. It's not going to be Halo. It's going to be this little Asian girl that he's helping out. And Master Chief's going to come in every now and then just to keep fans interested and say, oh, give us more Master Chief. They're going to give us more Master Chief. We're going to see them. They're giving us the White Walker treatment. But that's all I have to say right now with the Halo show. We'll have to see and what else comes of this. Maybe we'll get another trailer before the show drops. We can go a little bit more into it. Or we're just going to have to wait for March 24th for the show to drop on Paramount Plus. Until then, just keep your hopes up. Don't keep them too high. I mean, we've kind of been let down by Halo so far this past few months. But it is a passion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Remember that. These are just mine opinions. So have a good night. Peace.